So first, let's understand some very basic concepts in this coordinate geometry. First, this is the very basic thing of coordinate geometry, drawing the axis. So this is called the x-axis, right, and this is the y-axis. And we'll only focus on the 2D coordinate geometry. We don't get into the third axis, the z-axis. So right, the point of intersection is called the origin, the intersection of x-axis and y-axis. So for the x-axis, whatever I see to the right of origin would be positive, right? So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, etc. And to the left of origin would be the negative values for x, that will be -1, -2, -3, -4, -5 and -6 and so on. For y, whatever the values that you see above origin would be the positive, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. Similarly, the below origin would be the negative values for y, that is -1, then -2, -3, -4 and so on, right? So very basic thing that you should be able to do is plot a point, right, in the figure. If I say there's a point A which is 3, 5, where would that point come in this figure, right? That's a rough coordinate geometry, the x and y axis. So a point A has x coordinate 3. The first coordinate is the x coordinate, right? This is the y coordinate. So what is the value of x for this point? 3, right? So x3 is this. Because y is positive, I'm going in the upward direction. If the y was negative, I would have definitely come in the negative, because y should be negative. But because y is 5, which is positive, so 5 is here, right? So y5 is here. So this point 3, 5 is A. So for that, the x is 3 and y is 5, right? That's how you do. Let's say if I have to plot -3, 2. How would I do? X is -3. So -1, -2 and -3. And y, it's positive, so I should again go upward direction, and y is 2 is this point, right? Y is 2, x is -3, so -3, 2 is the point, right? Simply that's how you plot A, B, etc. Then we have 4 quadrants. So that's like basically the axes are cutting this entire space into quadrant 1, where this entire zone is quadrant 1, right? So obviously this goes into infinite. So positive x and positive y, all of this zone is quadrant 1. Similarly, this quadrant is quadrant 2. What is the property of this? Y is positive but x is negative. And what about this? This is quadrant 3. X is negative and y is also negative. And quadrant 4 has positive x but negative y. See, the quadrants most probably would be used with this logic of the signs of x and y coordinate. Let's say there's a point A with x and y coordinates. The product of xy is positive. Where should this point be? In which quadrant should it be in? Because this product is positive, it should be either this quadrant where x and y are both positive, right? If the point A is in this quadrant, the product of those coordinates x and y will be positive, positive into positive. Or it can also be here, because the quadrant 3 has both negative x and negative y. So negative into negative gives me positive, so product will be positive. But in these two quadrants, quadrant 2 and quadrant 4, one is positive and one is negative, right? So x is positive, y is negative here in the fourth quadrant. And in this case, y is positive and x is negative. When I multiply these two, I will get a negative product. So this two can't be the quadrants in which I see this point. So that's how you can solve. So this would be most likely application of this quadrant, right? So be careful with that part. It's more to do with the signs of the coordinates in each quadrant. Now, distance between 2 points. This very fundamental thing that you need to know. So let's say I say there's a point. This is 4, 4. Let's say another point, let's take something like this, -4, 1, right? X is -4, y is 1, so this is the point B. Let's say this point A, which is 4 and 4. So, okay. Now if I ask you what is the distance between these 2 points, that is if I make a line and I measure this length, right? So what is this length is what? So the units are not fixed per se. So unit would be like this. So this 1, this is 2. I mean, this entire thing is 2. Obviously, this is also 2. The same units. So don't see if it's centimeter or something. Unless there's something given in the question, generally they don't have units. So it's the same thing. So the distance formula between any 2 points, right? Let's call it as x1 comma y1 is point A and point B is x2 comma y2, right? These are the coordinates of point A and point B. The distance between AB is calculated by this formula x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square with the square root, right? That's how I find the distance. So let's do this case 4 comma 4 and minus 4 comma 1. So what is the formula for distance? 4 minus of minus 4 square plus 4 minus 1 square. So 4 minus of minus will be plus. So 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 square is 64. Plus 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 square is 9. So the answer is square root of 70. So that is the answer for the distance AB between A and B. Right? So just you have to subtract the x coordinates for both the points, square it, plus similarly subtract the y coordinates of both the points, square it and add them, put a big square root on top of the entire sum. Right? Simple formula, you should know it. Then the midpoint, right? Before let's talk about midpoint. Before we talk about midpoint, let's talk about generally if let's say there are 2 points, this one and let's say this one. What is this point? Minus 2 comma 2 and this point is 4 comma 0. If I have a line joining these 2 points, let's say this is another point, okay, let's call this A and B. I want to split this line AB using this point C on the line such that AC is to CB is 2 is to 1, right? What I'm saying, AC and CB are split in the ratio of 2 is to 1. Then what is this point C? That's a question I can ask you, right? So that would be done in this way. Let's, instead of 2 is to 1, let's say I want to split the ratio as M is to N, right? So the line joining A and B, the 2 points, will be cut by a third point C on the line such that it will cut the line AB in M is to N ratio. That is like AC is to CB is M is to N, right? I gave an example of 2 is to 1. For example, let's say I need to do it in M is to N. The point C coordinates, the x coordinate and y coordinate will be this: M into x1 plus N into x2 by M plus N. That is assuming this is x1 comma y1 and this is x2 comma y2. And y coordinate will be also same, my1 plus ny2 by M plus N, right? Sorry, the formula is actually mx2 plus nx1 by M plus 1, my2 plus ny1 by M plus 1. So that is like m, I'm multiplying with x2 and then n into x1 by M plus n. Similarly, m into y2 and n into y1. So I'm cross multiplying, right? So A, B cut by point C in M is to N ratio. So the coordinates of C would be this. Now, if I am going for this example, right, 2 is to 1 for minus 2 comma 2, what should I do? So 2 is to 1. So 2 into 4 plus 1 into minus 2 by 2 plus 1, comma 2 into 0 plus 1 into 2 by 2 plus 1. So the answer would be 2 4s are 8 minus 2, 6 by 3 is 2, right? That's 6 by 3, 6 by 3 is 2. 0 plus 2 by 3 is 2 by, approximately if I see this, right, it will work out. See 2 comma 2 by 3 is 0.66, is slightly less than 1, somewhere around this point is what it is, right? So this part is 2 times this part, sort of, you know, it's looking fine. So sort of remember this part, a line joined by A and B with x1, y1, x2, y2 and cut by third point C in M is to N ratio. I can find the coordinates of this third point C, mx2 plus nx1 by M plus N, my2 plus ny1 by M plus N. So the very simplified version of that is finding the midpoint. What is the meaning of midpoint? A midpoint is a point which will cut this line into two equal parts. So the ratio of m is to n should be 1 is to 1. So m and n are 1, 1, 1. So what will I get here? See, for example, it would be x2 plus x1 by 1 plus 1, y2 plus y1 by 1 plus 1. So by is 2, right? So similarly, the formula would be written like this: x1 plus x2 by 2, comma y1 plus y2 by 2. I'm just swapping this 2, right? It's the same thing. So that's the simplest formula you'll see for the midpoint, which can be derived fundamentally if you understand this part well. M is to n or any other ratio I want to split a line, I can do with this formula. The midpoint is simple extension of that, where m and n will be 1 and 1, right? Midpoint is basically cutting the line into two equal parts. Our dividing is 1 is to 1 ratio. So just replace that and you'll get the answer. So simply remember this part or understand this part, you can find out for midpoint also. Right? These are the formula for the midpoint and a point cutting a line in some ratio m is to n. Now let's solve very simple question. Right? What I would always recommend is pause the video and try these questions on your own. Hope you have tried. So the first and foremost, though you really don't need to do this, we're still doing it as a practice. Plot these points. A is 2, 4, so x is 2 and y is 4. So this is the A. What about B? Minus 3, 2. Right, this is the point B. So what is the distance between this line, right? Between the points A and B, or the length of the line AB. So what is the distance formula? Square root of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. So simply do this. 2 minus of minus 3 whole square plus 4 minus 2 whole square. Right? So 2 minus of minus is plus 3. So 2 plus 3 is 5 square, 25. Plus 4 minus 2 is 2 square is 4. That will be square root of 29 is the answer for the AB. What is the midpoint of the line joining these 2 points? So let's say I think it will be somewhere around here, slightly on the negative side I would see. And let's say, what is the formula for midpoint? x1 plus x2 by 2, comma y1 plus y2 by 2. That's the coordinates of the midpoint, right? So let's call this the midpoint. So 2 plus minus 3 by 2, 4 plus 2 by 2. So 2 minus 3 is minus half, 6 by 2 is 3. So the coordinates are minus half and 3, which is what it is looking like, right? This is 3 and this is minus half. This is minus 1, so this is minus half. So this will be somewhere around this point to be, no, exactly, approximately that's what we have seen in the figures, right? So that's how we calculate them. Very basic and easy question.